What is the perfect EDC toolkit? I've put together many over the years, and I think I've finally figured it out inside this pouch right here. So let's take a look inside. And with that said, let's do the damn thing. So this is just the latest in a long iteration of different toolkits that I've carried over the years or made over the years. The most recent, if you want to see some of those others, there's other videos, we'll link them down below. But the most recent iteration of this toolkit would have been the one back in the holidays that it, like in the gift guides and stuff that I talked about. This is the belt pouch from Tough Possum Gear. I love these belt pouches and I have a lot of them for different reasons, but I had all my tools literally just shoved down in here. And the problem with it was, okay, cool, you can put this thing on your belt, and if you're gonna be doing stuff around the house, you have your tools on your belt, but the problem is that when you reach in, you just have to grab everything to find what you're looking for and then put everything back, and it's just not the most efficient way. It's a very convenient way to carry tools, but it's not super efficient. Those things are definitely not mutually exclusive, but it wasn't perfect. So as we sat down and tried to plan this video out, I was like, I love this, but it's not the right call. When we left the office yesterday, we thought that this was going to be the pouch that we used, a Vanquist pouch. I also really like this. I've used these in the past for these toolkits, but after going to this, which has a little bit more space, just raw storage space, to this, we had to leave some stuff out, which I didn't really want to do, which meant I either needed two kits or to choose a different pouch. Recently, I realized that I was paying for a subscription for a game that I probably haven't played in close to a year. So if you are like me and happen to forget about subscriptions that you sign up for, the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance app that allows you to manage your subscriptions, lower your bills, grow your savings accounts, and create a custom budget all in one simple app. I've been using Rocket Money since way back in my tech days, and I actually wrote about them back in 2016 when I worked at CNET, and I haven't really stopped using them since. Now, back to that game subscription that I totally forgot I had. All I had to do to cancel that was just a couple of taps in the app, and Rocket Money handled the rest. I didn't even have to leave the app. Having multiple businesses, I have a lot of accounts, and it's really easy to lose track of all the different bills and subscriptions I have. So Rocket Money puts all of that information in one place, so it's easier to track and manage. And they can also negotiate on your behalf to lower your bills on things like internet service or cable. But probably my favorite feature of Rocket Money is never letting me forget about those subscriptions. They're front and center, and it makes it really easy to remember what you've subscribed to. But also on the flip side, they make it really easy to cancel those subscriptions as well, which is usually kind of a painful process. With Rocket Money, it's just a couple of taps. So if you want to take charge of your finances today, go to rocketmoney.com/bestmedc and get started for free. And once again, I want to thank Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. So that brings us to the current iteration of my toolkit. And this is in a Carry Commission Blue Ridge Overland Gear collaborative pouch. This is the EDC pouch from Blue Ridge in our colorway. Yes, Carry Commission is my company. That really didn't have bearing on me choosing this pouch. There's actually a couple of reasons. When we rolled these out, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even really give this pouch a fair shake for a number of reasons. One being how many pouches I have in my office. It's a lot, and it's hard to always just care or be bothered to change to a new one. It's just, I get stuck on one, I stick with it. But there are a few reasons I went with this over any of the others that we have. One of them is the size. This is an odd size compared to basically every other pouch that I have. But before we explain all those things about this pouch and why I chose it, let's talk about why this pouch exists, why my kit is what it is. And basically it exists to be a supplemental kit for my EDC multi-tool. I've had the ARC in my pocket almost every day since the ARC came out, maybe a week or so without it, if that. I really enjoy it. I like having it around. I don't use it every day, but I do like having this full-size multi-tool in my pocket. It's a lot to carry, that is what it is, but this pouch helps me accomplish anything I may come across on a given day that this can't do. So there are some redundancies between this and what's in the pouch, but not a ton. And they're all meant to work with the Leatherman or help me do stuff that this can't do. So let's talk about what's in here and why we went with this particular pouch. Let's start with just the back, because this is pretty simple stuff that I've always had in my backpack or a toolkit. Zip ties, easy access. I know where they're at. They're kept inside a Ziploc. And the only other thing in here are alcohol wipes. I use these to clean knives or anything. If I get a scrape, I can sanitize real quick. Like alcohol wipes. I don't need to explain those. Those two things stay right here because, and on the outside, because I probably reach for these more than anything. So those stay in this zipper pouch on the back. And there's not really a whole lot more room in there because of all the stuff inside the pouch. I do have a Lumimod bead here on the zipper pull. I always do this on my bags because it makes it easier to find that zipper pull, and I can just grab the pull without having to grab the whole bag. It's easy to find because that's glow in the dark. But inside the pouch, we have kind of a host of things. One thing you'll notice about this pouch is that I did not cram it full. Normally, I tend to just pack every single crevice with as much crap as I can. I wanted to make sure I didn't do that with this one. So first, you may notice, well, you may not notice immediately, but one of the first redundancies that we've gotten here are the 2 bit kits. So I have inside here a Leatherman ratchet driver. Yes, they are now coming back in stock every so often. You just have to be quick on the draw. One of the best things I've found for being able to get one of these is the Leatherman subreddit. They will let you know when these go back in stock. They stay in stock for like 10 minutes. But Leatherman is making these. They're not discontinued. Moving on. Leatherman ratchet driver, because I love this thing. It works really, really well. It's an extension and a ratchet driver. That's great. And then I have the full bit kit inside here, which is just the tin for the 711L. Which way does this go? This way. I have a full Leatherman bit kit inside here, and that 711L ratchet driver that goes inside the Leatherman. Then we also have this Fix-It stick, which I talked about back in the gift guides as well, which has a complete, or a fairly complete, bit kit on it with Torx here. You've got some hex bits, Phillips, and flathead. So if you're not familiar with the Fix-It sticks, this is a ratchet driver. You can also use 1/4-inch bits with it. And then any of these are holding 1/4-inch bits as well. So you can have this set up in a number of ways and have 3 different bits at the ready with a T-handle and a T-handle that ratchets. It may seem a little bit redundant that I've got 2 different bit kits, but one of them works exclusively with the Leatherman. And I like being able to just grab these 2 things and have this. But this thing is just really nice to use. I've found myself in several situations where I've needed something that this didn't have or something that this didn't have. So, I mean, it is a little bit overlap. Sorry, I'm happy having multiple kits in this. It's still pretty compact and fairly lightweight. And I do keep a Ranger band around this because this tin has seen better days, but it's just big enough to hold everything. We'll talk about this real quick. I've talked about this in the past. This is a Magnus utility blade holder. When I bought it, I thought it was actually like a utility knife, like just uber minimalist. It's not. It just holds the blades. It was very expensive, and by the time that the video got around, I realized it was just a blade holder and I couldn't return it anymore. So I've kept it. My mistake, it was very expensive for just holding blades, but it at least makes holding blades easier. So I just have a couple of spare Tajima blades in there, and then the little fork kit for the TPT slide. And that just stays right here. Sort of. The retention on this elastic is not quite enough to hold it in place, but it kind of stays there. Next up, we've got the Klein electrician scissors. I've been crushing on these a lot lately. They're just really good scissors, or as you guys made it well aware, all you electricians in the comments, they're snips, not scissors, and I was using them wrong. The freaking scissors, and they work great, and I love them, okay? That's all you need to know. They're $16 at Lowe's. If you want to get them on Amazon, they're going to be a little bit more expensive. They're made for some higher gauge wires, but also you've got notches here for stripping wires. This is a file, and I cut a penny in half, literally, seriously, cut a penny in half with a pair of these a couple of weeks ago. So they are extremely stout, and if they start to loosen up on you, it's just a turn of that. You can tighten them up again. Really nice, and something that I'm not gonna have to like cry about if I have to replace. $16 scissors that are amazing. Obviously, we all know what this next thing is. This is Knipex. Yes, it's Knipex. It's on their freaking website. Whatever. Fight about it in the comments. I don't care. It helps me out. This right here is their pliers wrench. A lot of people in the EDC world use the Cobra pliers, and the Cobra pliers are good, but they are technically for plumbing. These are literally meant to be used as a wrench for nuts and bolts, and they work exceptionally well, like really, really well. Once you have these on a hex bolt or nut, they want to close. These handles want to close on themselves, so they create their own tension, and you can just turn it like you would a wrench without having to hold them closed. They work really well. I've done a fair amount of work on the Alu cab with this specific pair of Knipex. I did a lot of work for installing the S-Pod in my truck with a larger set of Knipex pliers wrenches. I love them. They're great. They're kind of expensive for what they are, about $45. But I wouldn't want a kit like this without them. However, if you want about the same functionality and you don't want to spend $45, you can opt to go to Home Depot or Amazon or Lowe's or wherever and get you a 4-inch crescent wrench. You're going to get the same functionality out of it for the most part, and it won't cost you as much. But I really like these. I don't like adjustable wrenches a lot of the time because they just kind of slip as you're using them. This thumb screw will slip and it's not as convenient as these, but for the money, you can get the same functionality. All right, this is an awl from my buddy Bushcraft Kelso. He hand makes these. This one may be the food fid is what he calls it, but it's just meant to be like you can poke your food and eat it if you don't have a fork. But I just use it to poke things if you need to scrape or kind of start a little hole or whatever. It's kind of just as good as a reamer or an awl, but friend made it, gave it to me, so it stays in here. I always have a pen in my pocket, like literally always, but something I don't always have on me is a mechanical pencil. I found this at a random store one time, maybe a year or two ago. It's a Penco mechanical pencil, really short stubby pencil. Apparently they're like $30 some and really hard to buy or find. I didn't know that, but the reason I like having a mechanical pencil like this is if I'm doing work around the house or something and I need to mark on, say, a wall or a piece of wood or something that a pen doesn't make a lot of sense for, I like having a mechanical pencil around. You don't have to get this specific one. You don't have to have any particular mechanical pencil or even a mechanical pencil. It's just maybe a wood pencil. It doesn't matter. I think having a pencil is something that a lot of people in a lot of these kits overlook. Pencil is very, very handy for a lot of reasons that a pen is not, so I have this one in this kit. And the last thing we have inside, well, several things, are kept inside this Tough Possum pouch, which I really like because it's hook and loop on the back, so it fits and stays right there on the hook and loop inside the EDC pouch. And this is just odds and ends that don't fit inside any of those little elastic bands. And just for the record, this elastic band comes in this EDC pouch, and then there's another one that's just 3 big elastic loops, and it comes over here. This is one that I've added just because that fix-it stick did not fit in the one that came in here, and I needed to make room for this. Inside that pouch we have this, which is, again, you don't have to get a titanium tape measure, but this is just one that was sent to me from Tech Accessories, and it's, I think, just 3 feet. Yeah, 36 inches, just a little tape measure. It's nice to be able to measure things and not have to rely on one of those that's on like the handles of a Leatherman. I also have a decent set of tweezers in the Uncle Bill's sliver grippers. You guys know I talk about these all the time, especially in these small kits. It's just nice to have a small pair of tweezers, and these are affordable and very, very good. I also have a slim Bic lighter wrapped in some Gorilla Tape. It's either Gorilla Tape or T-Rex, I don't remember. Just a little Bic lighter with some tape, because duct tape or T-Rex or whatever you want to call this is just handy. It's also a good fire starter. There's a lot of uses for duct tape, as we all know by now. This right here is the Worksharp Benchmade collaboration for the Edge maintenance tool, I believe is what they called it. But it's effectively just a strop and a ceramic rod, so you can touch up the edge of your knife on the fly. It's just kind of like the guided field sharpener, but it doesn't have the diamond plates, and it's a lot smaller. It is a little more difficult to use because it's so small. So if you're using this on your knife, it's almost easier to take the strop across the blade rather than the blade across the strop. I don't know if that makes sense but it, like, verbally when I say it, but when you're using this thing, I end up actually kind of using them together. This thing takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's just really nice to have a strop and a hone like that anywhere. And then finally, you guys may have seen this recently. I did a reel or YouTube short on breaking into the Alucab because I had a padlock on it. I don't have a padlock anymore. Don't try it. I put a deadbolt on it. Good luck. But this is the entry kit from Tough Possum Gear that is, he's updated it now. All these pieces are together, which is really nice. So they're not all individual tools. They're riveted together. So do I lock pick all the time? Not really, no. Have I needed to lock pick for legitimate reasons? Yes. Is it fun? Yes. Do I like to do it? Yes. So, and of course, I have a 3-year-old who likes to lock doors, so I keep this one in my pouch so I can get it easily because he likes to lock us in or out of things. So thank you, Flynn. But that all stays inside this, I think this is the Skittles pouch. Don't get mad at me, Jayberry. You have a lot of names for these pouches and I can't remember them all, but it is just a small pouch with Velcro on the back that just goes nicely right there. I have a small hero clip right here. This is just so I could clip it to things if I need to. Obviously, I got this in the Academy EDC video. It's just a small little 15, 18, whatever dollar clip. A lot of different possibilities with that. And then one last thing. This is the little curveball that you didn't know about. I found that little mini Sharpie and I was like, hey, that would go really good right there. That right there is the whole kit. I think that's pretty complete. I've got my marker, pencil, wrenches, all the bits and stuff that I could ever want in a very compact kit that slides easily down into my backpack. If I need to grab it and go, I can do that thanks to this hook. I can hang it up while I'm working with it. I think this is as a complete of a kit, a legitimate EDC toolkit as I've ever had, and didn't break the bank. I mean, all of this is stuff that I just had already, but I think total with even the redundancies and everything in here and the Knipex and the fix-it sticks, like everything, I think this kit's around $270, $280, give or take. But you don't have to go that expensive. Like I said, you can exchange out the Knipex for one of those mini crescent wrenches. The fix-it sticks you could replace with, there's actually a little kit that I let Ricky borrow. I'd show you today, but Ricky has it and hasn't brought it back. Thank you, Ricky. It's been a month and a half, but I'm not keeping track. But it's Crescent brand, or what is that brand from? It's Icon brand. Icon brand from Harbor Freight. They have a little ratcheting kit that's like 40 bucks. It's actually really nice. So that would go in here and it would maybe take up a little bit more room than the fix-it sticks, but you know, there's a lot of cheaper alternatives that'll do the exact same thing. I just built the kit with stuff that I already had and I've, you know, added and removed things over the years. This is as complete as I think it's ever been. I'm really pleased with it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below and what you would add or remove or how you would build your own kit. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, carry on.